We're ready to get started. So thank you again for joining us for our webinar, Your Industry is Essential Despite COVID-19 Shutdowns. We will review how you can prepare for the growth ahead, amongst other items. So moving on to the agenda, we will cover COVID-19's impact on the global economy, provide a list of essential workers and links to governmental resources for small businesses, and provide tips to keep your customers and drivers safe while social distancing. You will walk away with an understanding of how to prep your business for the future and how to set goals during the crisis. We also have a special promotional offer for webinar attendees, which we will share at the end of the presentation. Our speakers today include Nicole, our product marketing manager for WorkWave Route Manager and GPS, and John, our account manager. Nicole has 19 years of experience in marketing for various industries. She's been with WorkWave for almost 2 years. John has 2 years of experience supporting some of our largest Route Manager customers. He takes pride in working with our existing base to help them achieve their business initiatives. We would love your participation in today's webinar, and we've allocated time at the end of our presentation for your questions and your feedback. Please use the questions box on the GoToWebinar navigation panel to submit your thoughts or what you've done to help your communities during this time. Some ideas include how your business has adjusted in response to the COVID-19 crisis, what you have found to be successful, any community initiatives you're participating in or you're considering, and any tools or best practices you found helpful in managing your deliveries. Like I said, we'd love to share your feedback with the group, so feel free to submit your responses throughout the presentation. Now I'll turn it over to Nicole to get us started.
Pleasure. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure being able to have this opportunity to speak with you all about the fact that your business has been deemed, essential, and that's why you're actually on this webinar. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy days to take a look at what we have to share. So as Casey mentioned, I'm going to talk to you about the impact on the global economy. Most of you already know that with this particular virus that's just ravaged our entire world, a lot of industries have been hard hit, such as the hospitality industry, schools are closed, retail industry, you name it. And it's had a residual effect on our overall economy with the shutdowns throughout the world and specifically the US. And what we're going to do is just to the industries where you fall into, which are deemed essential, whether on a national basis or on a state basis. So I'm going to play a video for you.
What is an essential worker? CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency under the Department of Homeland Security, provides guidance about the nation's critical infrastructure. It develops a list of essential critical infrastructure workers to help state and local officials protect our communities and keep them humming along during times like this. The list is comprised of 16 sectors. The basic sectors are things like food and agriculture, water, energy, financial, and communications. Then there are government functions like healthcare and public health, emergency services, defense, transportation systems, government facilities, and information technology. Finally, there are sectors you might not think of right away, like critical manufacturing, commercial facilities, nuclear reactors, materials and waste, chemical, and dams. I just want to know, am I essential? Many services you'd expect, like physicians, law enforcement, first responders, grocery store workers, farmers, utility.
Sorry about that, guys. Let's go backwards.
What is an essential worker? CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency under the Department of Homeland Security, provides guidance about the nation's critical infrastructure. It develops a list of essential critical infrastructure workers to help state and local officials protect our communities and keep them humming along during times like this. The list is comprised of 16 sectors. The basic sectors are things like food and agriculture, water, energy, financial, and communications. Then there are government functions like healthcare and public health, emergency services, defense, transportation systems, government facilities, and information technology. Finally, there are sectors you might not think of right away, like critical manufacturing, commercial facilities, nuclear reactors, materials and waste, chemical, and dams. Now, many of us want to know, am I essential? Many services you'd expect, like physicians, law enforcement, first responders, grocery store workers, farmers, utility workers, trash collectors, and banks are on the list. But there are many services considered essential you might not have considered. Construction workers, blood donors, the news media, plumbers, janitors, exterminators, and yes, even dry cleaners. And if you're considered essential, right now, the government says you need to be working.
Okay, sorry about that little hiccup just now. I got distracted with one of the GoToMeeting panel playing. But yeah, what you saw in that video, essentially, no pun intended, talks about all the different workers and industries that are in the US considered essential. So what we have here in the next couple of slides, we're going to go through the specific industries that are pertinent to this particular webinar. So as they mentioned, transportation and logistics industries are deemed essential. So positions such as dispatchers, postal workers, parcel, courier, last mile delivery, and related workers such as dispatchers, like I said, are a part of that bucket. Then we go into food and agriculture. So obviously food and beverage distribution, and then the trucking, delivery, and transport, all of those entities that fall under food and agriculture is deemed essential. As far as certain nuanced essential workers, we have industries that are by state level deemed essential. So that is the case in beer, wine, and spirits. So for the US, Alabama, California, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oregon, Texas, Virginia, and Utah thus far are deemed essential, meaning that these particular liquor stores are open for business or may be able to do deliveries to customers. Also, another interesting industry that has been deemed essential for our medicinal marijuana. We have, in this particular slide, I have two different columns of what the state level has allowed for dispensaries to do. So on the left column, we're showing the curbside pickup that is allowed for certain states such as California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Ohio, as well as Washington State. Now, some specific states also allow for delivery, so delivery direct to customers. And so far, the list that I've comprised is in Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Nevada, New York, Oregon, as well as Pennsylvania. So we mentioned that we're going to talk to you about some government resources for small and mid-sized businesses. I'm pretty sure that by now, most of you in the US have heard of the CARES Act that has been implemented to help businesses through the COVID-19 pandemic. And there's been allotted $2 trillion for small businesses, specifically $377 billion has been earmarked. So with this particular, allocated amount, there is a certain amount of, like I said, it's $377 billion that's devoted. However, it's broken up into three different buckets in order to assist businesses. So we have for emergency grants, there's $100 billion that provides grants of up to $10,000 to provide emergency funds for small businesses to cover immediate operating needs. We also have forgivable loans, $350 billion, and that amount is allocated for small businesses to provide loans of up to $100 billion per business. And these are used for paying things like rent, mortgages, existing debt, so it can be forgiven, and then to provide workers monies to be able to stay employed through the end of June. And then there's also relief for existing loans, $17 billion to cover up to 6 months of payments for small business already using SBA loans. At the end of this particular presentation, we're going to send you links with all the resources that we're discussing so that you have it accessible. but you can access on the SBA website the applications to even start the process of trying to secure any of these funds or this aid. Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to also share with you are some things that may seem common sense, but it's good to just see it in writing, kind of from OSHA, a resource that really helps businesses to stay on the up and up for cleanliness or safety and things like that. So this information is actually pulled from their particular site. One of the suggestions they have, of course, is to develop an infectious disease preparedness and a response plan. So this, I broke it down into both from the office and workplace perspective, but then also in the field. So things like that pertain to, you know, your dispatchers who work in the office place, but then also for your drivers who are out in the field. So when it comes to office and workplace, you should prepare to implement a basic infection prevention measure. Develop policies and procedures for prompt identification and isolation of sick people if appropriate. Develop, implement, and communicate about workplace flexibilities and protections. As far as the field, of course, implement workplace controls, PPE, engineering administration, or administrative rather, and safe work practice controls. How to keep your customers and drivers safe. I'm pretty sure that most of you already have implemented some sort of policies for cleansing and for safety for your employees and field workers or drivers specifically. But we're just going to reinforce what you may already know. So, of course, exercising social distancing and keeping it clean. From your office and workplace perspective, promote frequent and thorough hand washing, including by providing workers, customers, and worksite visitors with a place to wash their hands. Encourage workers to stay home if they're feeling sick, and encourage respiratory etiquette, including covering coughs and sneezes. Provide customers and the public with tissues and trash receptacles. Establish workplace flexible work sites and flexible work hours, such as, for example, staggered shifts, and then discourage workers from using each other's items. As far as cleanliness, maintain regular housekeeping practices, including routine cleaning and disinfecting surfaces, equipment, and other elements of the work environment. Another video we're going to share with you.
Tonight, nearly 1 million drivers on the job nationwide, amidst rising fears.
Could someone have it? Is the package contaminated?
Richard Hooker says the worry starts in the warehouse, where coworkers say companies are putting them in close proximity to those who could carry COVID-19.
No soap, no hand sanitizer, there's no cleanliness at all. But we're essential. Now they're telling us we're essential.
Drivers used to handling hundreds of packages a day now do so at their own risk. UPS veteran Michelle Fillmore had to buy her own hand sanitizer and says this new demand is like the Christmas rush plus a health threat no one can see. At the end of the day, do you feel safe?
Well, at this point, I don't think any of us feel safe.
Companies stress they're changing policies. UPS stating if any employee experiences symptoms such as fever or respiratory infection, they are required to seek medical treatment immediately and not come to work. Adding our vehicles are cleaned and disinfected daily. FedEx following suit, suspending requirements for most customer signatures, stocking hand sanitizer at facilities, and promoting social distancing on the job.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to John. He's going to talk about how you can prep your business for the future.
Thank you, Nicole. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is staying safe out there and doing well. Thank you for making some time for us today. Really appreciative of the time you're taking out of your busy days, I'm sure, to spend some time here with us. I recognize some names on the attendee list, so thank you all for joining. So definitely wanted to talk to you today just a little bit about how our software can really help you guys benefit, get you through these tough times and really set you up for success in the future. Things like typical business objectives that most companies are going to hone in on hitting. So things like giving you a quantifiable return on investment, increasing your obvious bottom line, gaining efficiency, and most importantly, gaining profitability there as well. So the software as a whole, it's going to help you do a lot of things, but it's going to help you do these key things here. Most importantly, that's really going to get your business to that next level that you're looking to do, of course. So being able to do remote routing and dispatching, so being able to have a dispatcher in a, let's say, centralized location, but being able to have your drivers remote. So our software gives you the capability to dispatch routes to their mobile devices, which truly kind of hones in on that social distancing aspect there, and allows your drivers and the rest of your employees not to have to be in the same location. So as you can see here, dispatch from anywhere with a cloud-based solution, provide drivers with that mobile app that we just talked about for assignments and adjustments. So a lot of things we can do on the fly as well. So if things need to be changed, obviously, if your routes are more of a dynamic type, we're able to make those changes on the fly. We have automated delivery assignment as well. So this is what's going to help you gain that efficiency that we talked about. Build reliable, data-driven delivery routes, reduce operational costs, and maximize driver output. So very important, of course. Multi-user ability. So having the ability to have multiple admins plan for within the system, being able to dispatch routes, like I said before, to multiple drivers if need be. Obviously, very important there as well. And also, of course, scalability. So it's important, of course, you want to have a software that you're going to be able to scale with here, and our software will do that. So giving the ability to scale, we have companies with us from your small one, two vehicle fleet mom and pop shops, all the way up to your very large enterprise level companies. So extremely important to have a software that's going to be able to meet your needs, no matter what type of business you are. So again, just in terms of getting into more specifics here on what we can help you deliver from definitely a business objective perspective, we help you automate the delivery routes with our route optimization, dynamic scheduling. So customize multiple customer time windows. So time windows is key because you want to make sure that you're setting proper expectations for your customers. Being able to build those constraints into your system. So obviously you're going to have situations where you have drivers that have specific skill sets or vehicles that have specific types of constraints. Our software allows you the capability to build that in to your daily planning. Factoring daily limits as well. So obviously vehicles that have weight limit restrictions, low capacity constrictions, you're able to build all of that in to our software as well. Getting data-driven delivery assignment suggestions as well, and make route adjustments and reassign in real time, which is what we touched on before. So being able to be dynamic, as they say, and be able to make those changes on the fly is crucial. In a lot of businesses nowadays, especially in a lot of your industries, things are going to change, and they're going to change quite often. Whether it's an employee, not being able to show up for work, an employee having to leave early, and you needing to manually move a stop to another vehicle. Those are things that you can all do with our software. So obviously, it's gonna really get that efficiency that we talked about earlier. Working remotely with a cloud-based software and driver mobile app. So we talked a little bit about the mobile app before, being able to dispatch the routes remotely, which ensures that you don't need to physically hand over, let's say, printed routes to the drivers. Although our system has the capability to do that, you want to make sure you're using the software as efficiently as possible. So being able to have that mobile aspect for the software is definitely key. Being able to assign and adjust delivery routes to drivers via the mobile app, validate that the drivers are delivering the correct orders with our mobile app barcode scanning. We have a lot of different proof of delivery functionality within our mobile app. So things such as barcode scanning, proof of delivery with signature capturing notes, voice recordings. It's crucial because you want to make sure that these routes that you're optimizing for your drivers are being followed, because otherwise there's no really way to quantify that money that you're saving, to really quantify that ROI that you're hoping to save with the software. So our software has all the analytics that it will capture, being able to capture all of that data that's actually being captured there by the driver. So definitely important. And then of course, provide customers real-time notifications and tracking information. So we do have in-vehicle GPS solution as well with our software, which gives you more data driven behind the actual vehicle itself, as opposed to the driver itself, which can also be captured with like a mobile GPS functionality. We have text messaging and email notification capability as well. So being able to give your end customers real-time alerts of scheduled deliveries, and when the delivery is, let's say, 15 or 20 minutes away. These are all things that we think end customers really appreciate, and all things that again are going to get you to your key business initiatives. And here are some of the key industry Nicole referenced earlier. So Nicole referenced, obviously, medical marijuana. So specific needs for that industry are typically going to be order and driver tracking and proof of delivery, customer notifications to provide live ETAs and live tracking link as well. Long service times and time windows, which we talked about before. Simple implementation for planners, and driver mobile app for driver assignments and tracking. Same goes with the food distribution, local delivery and courier services, as well as the beer, wine, and spirits distributors there too. You can see that a lot of the industry needs there are very similar. Same thing with food distribution. It's obviously going to help increase the operational efficiencies there, reasonable time windows, proof of delivery with live tracking, and the ability to integrate delivery orders. Just to kind of touch on that piece a little bit, we do offer a full API, meaning we can integrate with pretty much any CRM or ERP software that you have out there. That becomes crucial, especially with dealing with some of you larger companies that may be out there that may need that integration, whether it's importing data in from an existing CRM or being able to export it out kind of on the fly. That's just going to help gain efficiency, because overall, you just want the software to do a lot of the work for you, as opposed to you doing a lot of manual work. So having that API functionality is definitely key as well. And then just bouncing down to the local delivery and courier services, tracking and proof of delivery as well, again, route scheduling, employee management, vehicle assignment via GPS, which is what we talked about before too, just a little bit, and down to the beer, wine, and spirits distributors, operational efficiencies, reasonable time windows, proof of delivery and live tracking, and the ability to, again, to integrate delivery orders.
Introducing the new way to route with WorkWave Route Manager. You can take back control, gain visibility, and make better decisions that impact your customers, your team's productivity, and your efficiency. From one screen, you have it all: quick, easy, seamless route planning and GPS tracking. And you're backed by a team that's committed to your success, so that you can focus on delivering to your customers' expectations. It's easy with the new way to route.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing all of that, John. I'm going to go through some of the goal setting that we are suggesting when it comes to, this COVID-19, but then also beyond. So one of our favorite entrepreneurs, I'm sure everyone is very familiar with, Mark Cuban. Some of the advice that he shares for entrepreneurs like himself are to communicate with your stakeholders. So with your employees, your suppliers, your customer base, let them know what's going on as much as you can within reason, and let them feel like they're a part of the solution. Then rally them around you so that they can feel connected and vested into your success. get ahead of the game. So this is the opportunity to sort of take inventory of what you currently are doing from a literature or a collateral standpoint, the way your processes are currently being done, and figure out solutions to make them better. You are an essential business right now, so you're going through an uptick or a boom when other industries are, suffering or declining. So this is an opportunity for you to pivot to taking steps now to set you up for success during COVID-19, but then well after COVID-19. And then, as I'm sure all of you have been doing, stay informed of all the economic relief opportunities that are out there. I shared with you earlier about the CARES Act aid that is available to small businesses. Over $377 billion is allotted for businesses like yourself. So be sure to take advantage of that and contact your local bank or go to the SBA website and find out what resources are available to you. Some of the advice that we have as WorkWave is to just continue to lead with faith and not fear. It's very easy to kind of get into a dark place where you think that, there's no hope, there's no solution, there's no resolution to what's going on right now. But if you have a positive outlook on the situation and look for some sort of light at the end of this dark tunnel, then it will inspire not only your team, but the customers that are around you. It's more of a positive, infectious feeling when you're working around people who have an optimistic vision of a situation and looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty. So if you can try to have that sort of leadership to inspire the team around you, it will go a tremendous way. And then there's always an opportunity in the face of adversity. John and other guys in our account team have mentioned to me that we've had so many customers who either have been deemed essential and they are ramping up and adding more solutions to their plan, or we have some that are more that are actually suffering, but are using this opportunity to help underprivileged, nursing homes or needy to try to do some sort of goodwill or do something to just keep their business open in whatever capacity. And then finally, look ahead for the future and prepare for it. This COVID-19 situation is not going to last forever. Eventually, we're going to come out of it, and hopefully we come out ahead of it. But being prepared for the future is the best way to go about that. And that's why John went ahead and shared with you some of the things that our products can do to help you prepare for the future. Just want to share another feel-good video for you.
Today we are excitingly delivering lunches to kids that need a good lunch.
So just boarding your lunch, you're going to sign in there.
We have about 160 of our buses that are involved in the delivery of food for students.
We'll wait for the school bus for lunches. It's really awesome, and it provides food for people that don't have enough to last.
The kids love it. Have snacks for the day that make it feel more like school at home.
Some families are really struggling. You're trying to have a theme for each day.
I think most of the drivers, most of the employees that are involved in this are really excited to be able to do it.
Today was Memorial Day, where we are rolling on your side.
That's a very nice thing for the school district to do. We really don't know how long this might last, but what we do know is we will be delivering meals as long as it takes. So we can get through this all together.
Very beautiful. I get chills when I watch that video because it just shows the level of humanity that exists during these times of crisis. And it really makes me feel good about, what we can do when we work together and we have this sort of collective mentality, a global collective mentality of how we can get ahead of dark times. So with that said, we want to just, like I said to you at the beginning, and Casey mentioned at the beginning, at the end of this workshop, we want to share with you the resources that we discussed during this workshop. We're going to send you a copy of this recording, but then we're also going to give you a list of links for all the COVID-19 resources that we talked about here and then some. And as Casey mentioned earlier, we have an exclusive offer that is available to you as a thank you for attending this workshop. The offer is valid through the end of this month, so we hope that you take advantage of it. These are just some of the high-level resources that you'll be expecting. Some articles, some list of what the essential industries are for the UK, the US, as well as Canada. Then we're also going to share with you some blogs and Facebook resource page that we have. We have also all the different topics that we have for WorkWave that will be relevant to your industries. And then that preparedness plan, OSHA information that I was sharing with you earlier today, we have a link for that as well. So I'll turn it over to Casey now, as we're going to go through some of the questions that we had posed and get some of your answers and your thoughts.
Sure. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, John, for presenting today. Really helpful to see some of these resource links and some of these feel-good videos. So I'm just going to remind the audience that we have the questions box available. So if you want to send in with your feedback of how you're working with your communities, how your business is adjusting to COVID-19, any tips that you have or that you want to share to others on the line. We have John and Nicole here, so we can answer all of your questions and share all your feedback. Nicole and John, we'll just give it a minute for some of those answers to come through.
Okay, it's Nicole here. So one of the questions that we had asked were, what are you doing in your community, or what community initiatives are you participating and are considering? So we have a customer who's based out of the UK, and I'm not going to name the name of the particular company, but they are an egg delivery company. They actually changed their model around to feed the needy. So they were actually increasing their number of licenses to try to help those who are in need with delivering goods to needy. So that is really sweet and very kind. John, I remember you mentioning to us a customer, a food distribution customer that also took part in some sort of goodwill initiative. Do you want to share that?
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, I definitely do want to share that feel-good story. We do have a large food distribution company in the southern part of the United States, will also remain nameless, but Ashley is working with Humana to deliver meals to senior citizens. Obviously, senior citizens right now are certainly having a tough time being able to get out, being able to get to grocery stores and whatnot. A lot of senior citizens are scared, given the current circumstances too. So thought it was a great feel-good story. Spent a lot of hours on the phone with this customer, kind of talking through their needs and what they would need from our software to be able to meet their needs and meet the end customer's needs. So another great, like I said, feel-good story.
Thank you for sharing that, John. And then other things that we're seeing are, as far as what are the top 2 things you've done to be successful. So some of our customers are saying that they actually have increased their number of licenses as they have noticed an expansion. Since COVID-19, there is more demand, obviously, for deliveries now more than ever. So they've been expanding their licenses to take in more of the delivery requests and demands that have been coming. And then we've also been getting some new customers coming our way who haven't had a software to help them for delivery routing and dynamic routing software. And they've actually started working with Route Manager because they felt that it was helpful to help them better manage the volume of deliveries that they've been getting. So those are some of the things that we've been told, and we're excited that we've been able to help through this situation, and then hopefully also beyond this COVID-19 situation.
Great. Nicole, we actually have a question on the line. One of our customers wants to know a bit more about Route Manager's mobile app and GPS and how they can utilize that for contactless delivery and sending customer notifications and to help with social distancing. Could you provide a bit more information on the mobile app and GPS?
Sure, I'll let John go ahead and speak to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more than happy to answer that question. So yeah, our mobile app can be utilized for texting capabilities through notifications, as you mentioned. So the mobile app allows dispatcher to be able to dispatch the routes that are optimized directly to their mobile app. So driver would download and install the Route Manager mobile app. Driver would log in with their own set of credentials, and the routes are going to be displayed in order in which they're set to be fulfilled. So let's say 1 through 10, for example. If you have the advanced capability, meaning our 360 functionality, you're going to have some added functionality there too, such as being able to text notifications to the end customer day of delivery, let's say 15 or 20 minutes beforehand, and then once again at the end of the day. And of course, if there's any schedule adjustments that need to be made as well, also gives you that proof of delivery functionality. So for each specific stop that's outlined in the list of stops for the customer for that day, they'll also get turn-by-turn direction capability there too, and they'll be able to legitimately check in and check out of stops too, and that's really goes a long way to providing the analytics piece that I talked about earlier, being able to really run true reports of whether or not these routes are being followed to the plan, and then being able to actually build that report to determine whether or not these drivers are following these planned routes, which is obviously important there. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you so much, John, for taking that question. Yeah, this is the type of thing where you can really find out, with Route Manager that we have a lot of things to offer that you might not have even considered, needing. On this particular webinar, we have a combination of, customers as well as people who just want to learn more about Route Manager and what we offer. So, we're more than happy after this workshop to answer any questions that you may have to learn more about what our product is all about and some of the features, and have an actual demo customized for your business to see how we can help you. Casey, I'll see if there's any other questions that we have. And if not, we'll give you some time back to your day. We know that you're very busy, especially being essential industries. I know that right now is a really hectic time.
Yes, so far, no more questions that I'm seeing, but to keep the questions box open for another minute or two. So if you guys have any questions or comments or anything you want to add, please feel free to write it in the questions and chat box. Otherwise, we'll wrap up in a minute and Nicole can share some of those promos that we have.
Yes, indeed. Okay, So like I said, at the end of this workshop, we're going to be sending you an email that'll show you the offers that are afforded to you. There's going to be a unique or an exclusive offer for our existing customers, and then another offer that is available to our friends who joined us to learn more about Route Manager. And as always, if you have any questions or would like a customized demo, we are happy to help and share with you any information you might need. So if there's no more questions, we can wrap this up. I want to thank you on behalf of all of us at WorkWave sincerely for joining this workshop, but then also for all of the hard work that you're doing to keep our economy, keep your customers, and keep your communities up and running during this very challenging time that we're facing as a global family. And stay strong. Remember the advice, lead with faith instead of fear, and then know that there's always opportunity in the face of adversity. But then this will not last forever. We are hoping that relatively soon we'll be out of this pandemic crisis that we're in, and we want to make sure that we look ahead to the future and prepare for it. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for your attendance.
Thank you.